So what do you do when something is going to have a really long description? So I spoke about in the previous video about the bottom piece of this poster. We created a description for that, and that's the only piece we saw. It is actually part of this whole poster. And this whole poster was not originally broken up into 3 chunks like this. This was done for the long description purpose. So this is a way to help yourself be able to create the long description. And so you can say when you're actually creating the long description for this, this is actually from the YouTube video and from the Diagram Center. And so what they did is they talked about this big poster. And so here's the first chunk of the poster, the top portion. And so then they describe that. This is a vertical infographic containing the header, footer, and 3 main sections between them. The header reads, and then they write out what the header reads. The first section below the header reads, and they write out all the text. And then they go to the next piece, the next section. So notice they're saying each section. So they've dissected it on their own, gave it sections to talk about. The next section contains a silhouette of a human figure, 2 circled lines, and in the circles the text is. Below the 2 circles is a banner, and then they describe the text in that. Again, the reason they're describing all of this text is because it's information that they're trying to give out, so it's information that needs to be in the description. And then the last piece was the description we saw in the previous video, and it's talking about the final section before the footer has 2 columns represented, and then it talks about the footer. So that is an extremely long description. It is something that it would be basically 3 times as long as the long description that I did in the previous video. Now, how would you go about doing this? Well, in something that's a really long description, I wouldn't necessarily put it as a description underneath, because it's so long. It is basically a duplicate of what you're seeing. And you wouldn't put it in the alt text either. So in the alt text, you would do your alt text, go in, do your image, and say hepatitis C oops, I need to show you what I'm doing. Hepatitis C poster, description, and link below. And then we would do the same thing that we did before, where underneath the image, we actually type image description, and then we'll link that. So I'm going to pick not a course document, of course hyperlink, course link. And the page I'm going to go to, I'm just going to grab the 2 cars directional arrows design just because I want to get some kind of link there. Obviously it's not the correct description, but what I would have is the correct description page already built. And so I'll show you, I'm going to skip to it again. This is just like in the last video. So we have image description down here. We also have the alt text is on here as well. And if I go to the image description, so here's the text image description. It's the wrong text. I mean, I didn't type all that up yet. But if I had to, I would type all of that up because it's for that poster. So I'd, of course, be typing the correct text in there. But the text would be quite long this time because it's embodying those 3 different sections. And you would put it all on this page, just like how they show on this diagram in the video.
The design of the actual
of this video, all the 3 different sections there. So it's up to you how you're going to create the sections for the actual image. And then once you decide how you're going to create it, and then you can describe all those. And this video that I was just referencing, that link to that video is in the description box below this YouTube video. So the next image I want to talk about is the science image, where there's 4 boxes all coming out from this biotechnology graphic in the middle, and all the boxes have a lot of text. So Okay, we've got to deal with this. Now, what the author did here of saying page 9 of textbook is awesome, but I did actually go to the textbook. There's a couple reasons why this is not really ideal, because there's no actual link to the textbook on that page 9 portion below the graphic. There's not, I think I looked at the source code on the HTML and I couldn't find a link on it as well. If I'm missing a link, then that would be my bad, but the link down here, page 9 of textbook, that part, it should be a direct link to that portion of the textbook, and then the student should be able to go there and then of course come right back to be if the textbook actually was accessible, if that image was accessible in the textbook. But even if the image is accessible in the textbook, you have to think that wherever you're sending them, will it send them directly to the image for them to be able to actually read all the text that's in the description? If not, then that's not the way that's not an ideal way to play it out. Then you'd want to create the actual page in Canvas with the accessible text in it for them to read. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to create that text page. So the first thing I'm going to do is just copy the image, and so I have the image saved, and I'm going to actually put it in a Word doc and okay, so I made that image into a PDF. I saved it into Word and then saved it as a PDF. And now all of this, and then I said edit PDF. And this is all text now that I can copy, so I'm not having to retype it. But I do have to say that when I first saved this, it was saved as a picture when I pulled it up into the PDF. So I went to Tools and then Scan and OCR. And then I did this recognize text in this file. And then it just magically became this. But I will say I tried that on when I just kind of printed the image of the text on one of the YouTube videos. But I don't know if it was the blue and white or something on the coloring on the image. It did not do the OCR on here where I could actually pull off the text. So one of the things I want to mention is the issue with things that have a lot of text and having to retype all these things. So I'll look into, and if I find it out, I'll put the information out there. But one of the things we need is help with converting these things to text, especially something like this that just has tons of text. But with that said, I was able to convert this to text, and so I'm going to grab that first box of text and copy it. So I created a new web page and Canvas page, and I titled it 4 Major Industrial Areas of Biotechnology. So this is where my description is going to go, and I'm just going to say here, description. And now I'm going to paste in all that text. It pasted beautifully. I'll just do a quick double check. Is it formatted the way I want? It looks good. So I'm going to go back to my image, and I'm going to grab the text from the second box, and I'll copy that. So I grabbed the text from the second box and copied that into my page. Now here's the part where we have to decide, how do we want to talk about how it's actually showing up. So on the actual image, it has 4 boxes. Now here's the thing, if the text inside actually didn't matter for the content for the page of what the students need to know, then I don't think you actually have to get into all of the text in the image. If you think it's going to be more advantageous if they have that, then you would put the text in the description of the image. So you can say, so this is an image of almost like a flow chart of biotechnology in the middle, and with 4 boxes of the industrial areas coming out from the center. So what I've written so far is image shows 4 boxes containing information of each of the 4 major industrial areas of biotechnology with the word biotechnology, and I used caps just like the image, in the middle of the 4 boxes. The top left box is for industrial environmental technology, and then I'm going to bullet the list that was under there. And of course this isn't working the way I want, so I'll just do a shift enter. So I believe you could do headings here. I didn't see a lot of talk about Well, you would want to bullet this list, and I have no clue why it's not working now. Formatting is probably the bane of my existence, but you would bullet these. There's an enter there, and then I'm going to bullet list what's under the title of the first box. Oh, there's no enter keys. So formatting, I think, would be, not too bad. Okay. So I had to put enters after all of the text. It didn't have the actual formatting. Okay, so we have top left boxes for industrial environmental technology. Put the bullets on, and then top right box is for medical pharmaceutical technology, and then I would put all the bullets on that list. And then you can see that's how I would do the rest of the boxes, the last two, bottom left box, bottom right box, and talk about them that way. If I needed to mention them in a specific order that was important, I would mention it that way too. So I'm going to now save this page, and I've gone back to my Canvas page that held the image, and of course I go into my image options, and as always I need to put something in the alt text so that the screen reader knows exactly what's going on. And so I'm going to do that. So my alt text says 4 major industrial areas in biotechnology, description, and link below. So again, connecting what the screen reader is going to read on the actual image to what I'm going to put below the image, and I'll put image description below it. And I could name that differently. I could title what the actual image is and then say image description, and then I'm going to hyperlink it to the course links page that I just created for the 4 major industrial areas for biotechnology. I'm going to save my page, and then we'll just do a quick double check. So I have my new image, and then formatting and everything I do later. It has the alt text, there's the image description below, and then I bring that up, and of course I didn't finish formatting and put everything, but this is the page that would hold all the pertinent information regarding that image. Now this is also, and if I hit back, it gets me right back to the image. This is also an example of where we wouldn't necessarily want all that text underneath, because it would take away for the sighted readers what's going on. It would be, I think they mentioned quite a bit, cognitive load. So that's another thing when you're writing descriptions, writing every detail. The first box is a gray box with a bolded top and all of that. Do they really need to know that? Is that pertinent to the information that they need to know? So in this case, a link is the best idea for this. And that's it.